Hey everybody, and welcome to Paper Tales Stamping and Create with Mikki. If you've been here before, welcome back. This evening, I'm going to show you guys how I created this Bendy Party Piggy fun fold card for our summertime. What is it? The summer fun Stamp It group blog hop that we did here just a week or so ago. I do have a PDF available that's downloadable and printable available here on the website. But I wanted to show you guys how I put this little guy together because it's why it looks complicated. He's actually not. Putting the fence together was really super simple. And then putting this adorable little pig was also simple. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to show you how to put it together. I'm not going to be doing a lot of stamps. I did use the WOW basic color embossing powder to do the pig. I used the black and the white, and then again here on the I am so proud of you. That's all heat embossed with the WOW basic embossing powder that you can purchase on our website. The color I'm using for the fencing is crumb cake, and the cardstock is also, well, the cardstock is crumb cake, but I'm going to show you how I added some texture or a darker color. I don't think you can see it right here. You can see where I have the darker colors there. I want to show you how I did that. Again, it's really super simple. This entire card, believe it or not, is really, really simple to put together. I do know that sometimes my instructions don't make sense because I, as a visual person, have a hard time sometimes spelling out directions. But that's why I want to show you guys how I did everything. Okay, so let me get somewhat organized here. First of all, I'm going to do the one stamping bit that I forgot to do, and that is my envelope and then the inside piece that I cut. Well, I guess it's technically would be the inside piece, but it's on the back side. You don't have to put that on there, but I am one where I like to have a white space to write, so I wanted to make sure I included that in my card. Let me find a block. Here we go. So for my envelope, all I do is stamp. I'm just going to stamp the pig head there, and Mikki, whoops, well, that's really bad. Guess we'll redo that one. Yeah, close enough. It's an envelope. And then for the inside piece, again, I'm just going to do another little, like he's peeking over the paper. There we go. So that should be all for the stamping that I'm gonna show you, because like I said, I already have all this, whoops, pre-embossed. It's boring to watch somebody else to do it. It's noisy, and my plugin is not right here convenient where I'm recording. So, but I already have him. I have 2 white and 1 black of the body, and then the same with the heads. And I cut these out with the coordinating dies with the bundle. And then I have Pool Party Blue for our card base, and that is scored at 2 3/4. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 scored at 2 3/4. There we go. And then for the strips, there's a whole bunch of them. Again, they're all listed there on the PDF, but just a real quick rundown. There are, let me see, there's 3 1 1/2 by 4 1/2 that are scored at a 1/2 inch, 2 1/4, and 4. And that would be these, maybe 3 right here. And then I have 3 that are a 1/2 inch by 6 1/2 inches. I can't read my own handwriting here. And then 3 at 3 or 3/8 at by, yeah, 2 1/8. There we go. And then I have just a single one here that I'm not even real sure what the size is. He's a 1/2 inch by 3 5/8, so it must have been a scrap piece. And this was the petal pink coordinated with the pig, because that's what I stamped him on. And for this, I just kind of highlighted the paper with actually the same way I did these. So I did that on the pink strip on the same I did here on our little strips, which I will show you right now how I did that. So what I did to make that, to give it the green, it's not even really a green texture look, it's just a different depth of color into the paper. So kind of a textury look to it, to the crumb cake, and then also to the petal pink here. All I did was I took my crumb cake ink and I opened it wide open. And then, believe it or not, all I did was take it, lay it directly on, and run it across. Using different pressure as you go along gives it different textures. Just like that. And then I cut the strips down and scored them, and here we are, ready to put this thing together. And like I said, as complicated as it looks, because it's 3D and a lot of people are scared of the 3Ds, don't be afraid of them. 9 times out of 10, they are not as scary as they really look. So always try to tackle them. I encourage everybody to, if you see one you like and you're just unsure about it, give it a go. You just never know. So I'm going to actually build from the inside out. Now you could do this with just a strip of paper. I've seen them done where instead of building a fence like I did, because the pigs need a fence, they just have a little bow strip here. It's usually about, I think it's like 3/4 of an inch by the 6.5, and then the inside bow is a 1/2 inch by 4.5, or 2 inches by 4.5 inches is what it is. But I wanted the fence look, so I tripped things up and split things out and created the fence, and that's what we're gonna show you guys how to do here. Now first we're gonna need our three 1.5 by 4.5. I want to make sure I have that right. Yep, 1.5 by 4.5 inches, and then we're just gonna score them. Like I said, they're scored at what did I say? A 1/2 inch, 2 1/4, and 4. And if I remember right, mine are scored incorrectly, which is funny. I discovered that when I was putting it together. Yeah, I scored them at 2. So I'm going to fix that just really simple, real simple, just real quick here. And how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to line it up here. And this is where the grid paper comes in handy. Each section, each square of the grid is a 1/4 inch. So right through here is a 1/4 inch. So all I need to do is grab my ruler, line it up here on the grid paper. Normally I would use a bigger tool, but we're just going to grab this is the stylus from the Take Your Pick. I just don't have it put together. And I'm using the small end, and then I'm just going to run that across right down those 3 at the proper line. And whoops, and we have a new score line. Just like that. And now I have it fixed. They should actually fold in half. That's a good way to check it. Here we go. All right. And now what we're going to do is lay these out. So you want them to be, I think I have them like 1/8 of an inch apart. I don't remember. I did it so fast. Yeah, they're 1/8 of an inch an 1/8 inch space between each one. So I'm going to line that one up there at the line and then go halfway, roughly. And then line that one up at the other line. And now we should be all lined up. And then I'm going to attach my little posts to this. And that's what's going to hold all 3 pieces together. And to do this, I'm just going to come here on the score line at the half-inch mark here on the left side. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on all three. And I'm going to line my fence post up right with that. And he can stick up at the bottom and the top at about 1/8 of an inch also, because I didn't want it sitting directly on the ground. And this is a good time to make sure everything is straight. And if it's not, it's a picket fence. They're not always straight. When they come to my house, my fence is not straight. It's got its few little issues here and there. And then I'm going to do it again here on the right side. I'm going to try and make sure that the bottom are lined up somewhat. Where did they go? Because you kind of want it to be straight, mostly. And then for the middle pole, I'm actually going to put on the left side of the score line. I about did that backwards. Normally I would glue directly on and then put it on, but because I have the gaps, I don't want to do that this time. Now, the inspiration from this was, this card was that we are out at the fairgrounds every Tuesday for our farmers market. And our fair actually begins, I believe, tomorrow. The county fair begins. And I'm actually participating in the show over the weekend for the commerce area. So I will be out there. But when you think summer, I think fair. And the pigs just screamed county fair. I just thought it was a really clever and real cute idea. So I ran with it. And now we're going to actually, I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit here. We're going to do the same thing with the 6.5 inch, but this one does not get scored in the middle because this is where the bow effect comes for the card. So I'm going to line them up just the same way with about 1/8 of an inch in between. And we're going to glue our little poles on the exact same way. Somebody's in the other room playing a game, so I don't know if you guys can hear him or not. If you can, I apologize. I don't know for sure what game he's playing, but we're playing a game. Okay, on the left side, and then we'll jump over here to the right side. And all this does is kind of sets everything so then you can put your center pole wherever you want it. I probably should have done 4 poles, but I tried that and it just looked weird. And again, I did those right at the score line. So it's going to sit right at the edge of the card. My paper cutter was being really weird, so I've got all these little fuzzies here. And then we're going to go, where's the middle? Right about there. Right there in the center. And I do have 4 on this one, and that's because it wasn't centered, so I made it centered. By putting the extra one there, it really centered things up. But we're going to try to do it with just the one this time. All right. Now we're going to grab our card base, and we're going to fold it, and then we're going to varnish it if I can find my bone folder. good fold there. Now I have folded it the wrong way. It doesn't really matter. I'm just picky about the way the cut lines go. That's just all preference there. But you can see here in the background I have the Itty Bitty Bokeh mix. I just kind of picked a few out, threw it on there. Probably too many, but that's okay. Because I wanted it to be party-ish, but when I put the pigs on, it was just blue and there was nothing back there, so I added those in. They're optional. You don't have to do it, or if you have something better or even DSP that you want to put on there. And if you would rather do the DSP, you could cut it at, let's see, you could cut that at, I'm going to say 2.5 by 4 would actually do the trick for, and you would need 2 pieces to do both sides there. But you could easily add that on there, which is probably what I should have done, but oh well. Oops. Okay, so apparently that piece was just never meant to be. We're going to add the pigs real quick. The white ones go on the back, background there. Put that one up there to cover my boo-boo. And then this one, the second one, I'm just gluing down the bodies this time. And then the heads I'm going to pop up with dimensionals. And there's no right or wrong on how many dimensionals you can use. Sometimes I go overboard. Sometimes, like with this one, I'm only going to use 3. I think it kind of depends on what I think the card's going to be used, or how it's going to be used, or how much it's going to get played with. I'm going to put him there. And this one right here. Okay. Now, the third time's a charm, we're going to put the fence on. The middle fence, because he actually attaches over the pig. This poor thing probably hates me right now, which I don't think I could blame it any. So right about there, 1 inch in, lined up at the bottom. And then again on the other side with the tabs. Okay, so now we have that centerpiece on. We're going to go ahead and add our third pig, and I'm going to actually put him together. And I'm just going to use the glue this time. Because the fence is going to help him pop out, so he doesn't necessarily need popped up. And I'm just going to attach him right here to that middle pole. Just like that. So now he's going to pop forward like that. And that's the, I guess, the bending mechanism right there in the center. So he automatically pops up, so he doesn't need any help with that. So now let's go ahead and move on to the final fence, and he's a little easier, a little less complicated. And we're just going to line those tabs up down here on the end. Normally I would try to slide him underneath that pig, but I don't know that I left enough room this time. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I did. Or if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But if you choose to and you don't leave enough room for the pig, you can always trim up those bars. And I think I did it again with the layering. I did. Oh well, we can fix it. I'm not going to try to pluck it off again. Glue him down. I don't think I left enough room. Nope, I didn't. Like I said again, you don't have to do that part, but I think it just makes it look cleaner. Which you would think I would remember these things, but you know, life happens. Or as I tell my kids, I have slept since then, so the brain doesn't always want to function. Okay. Fold those under. And attach so they line up on the other edge. And you can see where I didn't get it lined up right. I have it way too low, as opposed to how I did this first one, which is perfectly fine. It's an easy fix without having to tear the whole entire card apart. I will simply turn it over and cut those off. I actually kind of like it better because it shows more of the back. So happy accidents. We like those. I'm just going to attach my little I am so proud of you on here with dimensionals. Because I didn't want to pull out my little ones, or I forgot to pull out my little ones rather. I'm just going to grab an edging here right down the middle. And put him right here in the center. Just like that. And because they're the same width, they just line up just perfectly in the center there. And then I'm going to add some of the silver or basic gray smoky slate pearls to kind of look like the nails is the goal. Which ones did I specifically use? I don't know. I kind of varied between the two because it took me a hot minute to realize that they were actually two different colors there by mistake. I'm just going to put those, again, the goal is just to, look like little nails sticking out there. And I'll jump to the bigger ones. I think I'm using these are the basic grays. Okay, and then you can add in the bokeh behind. I'm not going to walk you through how to do that. And just, glue dots and little sprinkles. And then we can attach the back piece if you do one. Really just pick a side. There's no right or wrong there. Whatever you choose. Just like that. And then we are all done. The card is all together and they do fit in a standard sized envelope. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.